So here we are, June 11th, and the NBA Finals and the NHL Stanley Cup Finals are still going on. That's the problem with these two sports. They just never end. Come on, football's around the corner. Less than 8 weeks, we're going to have college football. We're going to have the NFL. Oh, you're telling me baseball's still being played? Okay, we'll get to a couple of complimentary plays in just a moment. But listen, it's a Sunday morning, and I realize you're rolling out of bed and you're thinking to yourself, I got to watch Al's video because I got to find out what happened on this day in history. I know it's your most pressing concern, so we'll get to your complimentary plays in just a minute because far be it from me to disappoint you, because I know that's why you tuned into this video. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. Guys, do you realize on this day in 2002, reality TV changed forever? Come on, what happened? 2002. What show made its debut? Yes, it gave us Justin Guarini. Well, thankfully, it didn't give us too much of Justin Guarini, but it gave us Kelly Clarkson. It gave us Simon Cowell. It gave us Paula Abdul. Well, listen, 2 out of 3 isn't bad. Yes, Fox Television gave us American Idol. Debuted 2002. And God help us all, it's coming back again, what, next year? Katy Perry as a judge? Is Katy Perry relevant? Has Katy Perry been relevant, like, for the last couple of years? I don't get it. Anyway, gave us the debut of American Idol in 2002. Here's something even a little better, though, for you. Go back to 1986. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 1986. What movie debuted? A classic, if there ever was one. I don't care if it's for you, if it's for your children, for your grandchildren. It's always going to be a classic. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yes, 1986. I'll never forget. I happened to see that movie. It was opening night. I'd read one of the previews. It said, you know, without the tipping off what would happen, stick around for the post-credit scene. And I'm sitting there in the theater. I don't know what was going to happen, but, you know, I'm watching all these people leaving the theater. And there's maybe myself and maybe about 20 other people sitting there watching the credits. And, you know, and all of a sudden you see all these people coming back into the theater as the credits are going because they're hearing voices. And, of course, you know what happens at the end of the movie with the credits and how many other movies have certainly mimicked it. Those credits, of course, Deadpool, great post-credit scene, right? I mean, listen, all the movies, the Marvel movies have the post-credit scenes, but you got to say Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool, that was one of the best ones, playing off the whole Ferris thing. I don't want to spoil it if you happen to be one of the 4 people in America that didn't see Deadpool. But anyway, 1986, that's when Ferris debuted. Go back in sports, 1982. Let's take up that one for you. Always been a boxing fan, grew up watching boxing. It's always been my favorite sport. Covered boxing for 8 years as a writer. Now, of course, I was back in school at this time, so I was a kid still. 1982, a guy who I never thought got a lot of respect as heavyweight champion, but was one hell of a fighter, one hell of a jab. But listen, when you follow Muhammad Ali, that's what happens. You're simply not going to get respect because you started off as a sparring partner to Ali. You eventually beat up an overaged, washed up Ali. And you follow him and succeed him on boxing's throne. That's what happened to Larry Holmes. I just never think this guy got the respect he deserved. But in 1982, he took on Jerry Cooney. And Jerry Cooney, of course, was billed as the Great White Hope because going into that 1982 fight, there had not been a white heavyweight world champion in 22 years. A very racially charged atmosphere. I say that, and in reality, I don't know in this present society that we live in if there's really that much change nowadays as there was back in 1982. I don't know, and it's a sad state of affairs to comment on. But, you know, back then, I mean, there was a lot of weird crap going on. I mean, white supremacist groups. They were saying they were going to have agents ready to take a shot at Larry Holmes the minute he was going to enter the ring. And this was at Caesar's Palace in Vegas, you know. And then there were African-American groups saying that they were going to have armed agents on hand to protect Holmes. There were snipers at all the hotels and casinos, apparently on the rooftops. ready to, just in case there was going to be any violence breaking out. This is a goddamn fight. This is supposed to be a prize fight. You know, Holmes took the fight to him early. Cooney got one good shot in. I think it was like in the 4th round. But after that, Holmes just had one hell of a jab, and he just peppered Cooney. And Cooney, who had only fought once, like in the previous 18 months, you know, he just didn't have the stamina to go. And eventually, Cooney's trainer threw in the towel, and that was it. You know, and ironically, Holmes and Cooney became very good friends later in later years, and Cooney started an organization that helped retired fighters, and Holmes helped him with that in terms of, I think, fundraising and stuff like that. But anyway, that happened in 1982 as well. So that's your history lesson for today. Let's get to your complimentary plays, which may not be as good as your history lesson. I like the Diamondbacks and Milwaukee to stay under the posted total of 8.5. You're laying $1.20 in that one. Chase Anderson, the ex-Diamondback, taking on Robbie Ray. Chase Anderson, 5-1 with a 2.94 earned run average after beating San Francisco on Tuesday, a game in which he allowed 6 hits in 7 2/3 innings of shutout ball in that contest. Took a no-hitter into the 7th inning against Arizona back at Miller Park in a May 27th home outing. Settled for 1 hit allowed in those 7 innings. He enters today's game carrying a 21 2/3 scoreless inning streak into the contest. Meanwhile, he's opposing Robbie Ray, who has a 2.85 earned run average on the season, and he's holding opponents to a 188 batting average. That's the second best mark in the National League, and he is 6th in the senior circuit, and I dare you to say that 3 times quickly. With 95 strikeouts, he's won his last 4 starts. He's only allowed 1 run in 30 1/3 innings in that stretch. Last time these two met in Milwaukee once more, May 25th, he uncorked 7 scoreless innings. Now, Arizona has a great home record because the Diamondbacks are number 1 in the National League at home in slugging percentage and runs scored. And I think they're tied for Milwaukee entering this series, in fact, in terms of home runs slugged at home. However, last night was a 3-2 final score, and I think with this pitching matchup, I'd venture the under would be the way to go, especially since it's a generous total of 8.5 runs with 2 red-hot pitchers. The other contest I like today is actually the Yankees as a slight road dog at Baltimore. And the reason they're a slight road dog is because they're calling up, they're not calling up, they're summoning a reliever, Chad Green, to make the start today against Baltimore, going with Green coming out of the bullpen, where he's made 7 appearances this season and compiled a nice ERA with 1.62. But this isn't so much about backing whoever the Yankees are starting today. It's more about backing a Yankees attack that we have seen go in stretches this season where they put a lot of runs on the board. And right now, this Yankees offense is absolutely clicking. They've already scored 23 runs in the first 2 games in this series, 24 runs in the first 2 games of this series. And in their current 4-game winning streak, I mean, the Yankees are just pounding the ball. And that's the bottom line. I mean, the past 4 games, they've scored 41 runs, and they've hit 13 homers, and they've got 54 hits in those 4 straight wins. And the Orioles have, definitely hit the skids. They've lost 13 of their last 19 games. So to get the Yankees in this spot, even though they're on the road, even though they're going with a reliever, why not take a shot with the Yankees here as a slight underdog at plus $1.10 to $1.20 in this one? Manny Machado has missed the past 2 games for Baltimore, or actually missed the last 3 games because he's got a sore wrist. He may or may not be available for this contest today. Again, I'm going to go with the Yankees in this spot. Thought about going with the Pittsburgh Pirates and Ivan Nova at home today against the Marlins. An ex-Pirate, Jeff Locke, who's only making his 3rd start this season after opening the season on the disabled list because of bicep tendonitis, and this is just his 3rd start, as I said. But, the Pirates have been such a disappointment, even though they rallied yesterday to beat the Marlins and snap Miami's 3-game winning streak. I just can't back them. And plus, Nova left his last start because of some knee inflammation, and he's lost his last 2 starts. So I'm just going to back off on that one. So your official free plays are going to be, once again, Milwaukee and Arizona under, plus the Yankees as a slight road dog at Baltimore. That'll do it, guys. I wish you well, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.